Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Sadly, Nicole did not pick up any of the calls. Jared hung up with a frown and a sigh. Max. Hearing Jared called him, Max instantly pushed the door and entered. "You were looking for me, sir? Try and locate Nicole." Noted. Max nodded. Then, he whipped out his tablet. After a brief moment, he reported, "Ms. Riddles has returned to the Sea View Villa." Villa? Jared frowned again. This petty girl. She left home just because she's angry. The thought of Nicole sleeping over at Mrs. Wallace Sr.'s house made Jared blue. There was no way he could bring her home when she had just gone there not long ago. Jared held his head in his hands as his hatred toward Fiorella grew bigger. If it weren't for her, Nicole wouldn't have acted this way. While he was cracking his head on this matter, Max's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and immediately picked up the phone without hesitation. Then, his face turned gloomy as he replied, "All right, I'll report it to Mr. Jared." After the call had ended, Max turned to Jared and said, "Sir, Henry has been brought back, but Mr. Maximilian's men brought him to the family manor." "Grandpa." Jared's eyes turned dark as he did not expect Maximilian to bring Henry home. "Bring the car. We'll go to the family manor." Jared was worried that Maximilian would be soft-hearted. He could not let Maximilian decide on this matter alone. Max followed Jared down and quickly drove him to the Johnston family manor. After 2 minutes or so, Jared exited the car. He saw that the vehicle that captured Henry was still there. They must have reached here not long ago. Jared strode into the manor and found Henry kneeling on the floor. Maximilian was sitting on the sofa and fiercely stared at Henry. "You're really an incredible son of mine. How dare you lay your hands on your own family member? How did I raise a monster like you?" Henry was trembling all over when he received the scolding from Maximilian. He wanted to escape home and also from being punished by the law. However, he did not expect to be caught back home again. Seeing that everything had been exposed, Henry knew he had no way out of it. All he could do was crawl to Maximilian's foot and cry, "Dad, I was wrong. I was too obsessed at that time. Please don't blame me or ignore me." Now that he was caught and brought back, if Maximilian hadn't taken care of him, Henry would probably end up in jail and died there. After all, he was now responsible for a few people's lives. "Don't blame you." Jared suddenly chuckled. He entered the living room in a depressing mood. Henry instantly got scared and shivered like the autumn leaves falling from the tree. "When did you return?" Initially, Henry wanted to beg Maximilian for a second chance before Jared returned. However, it was unexpected that he would return this quickly. "Why? Are you that scared of me? Or are you simply scared that you can't coax Grandpa with me around?" Jared exposed Henry mercilessly. Henry trembled. "I am not. Dad, don't listen to his nonsense. How would I dare? I've really repented on all of my wrongdoings." Jared chuckled. "If you really did repent, you wouldn't be caught back here. You would have surrendered yourself earlier." Those words instantly slapped Henry in the face. It also made Maximilian come to a realization. This son of his would do anything just to escape from his sins. He must not be soft-hearted toward him. "Quit all that nonsense. You better explain from A to Z what happened. What else are you hiding from me?" Maximilian had been deceived for many years. He wanted the truth now. Henry was at a loss for words. He had done so many bad things that he did not know where to start. But Jared might expose him, so he chose not to tell the truth. Maximilian would hate him even more if that were to happen. So, Henry gritted his teeth and began crying, "I was wrong. I asked people to knock you and did the trick at the hospital. I am worse than a beast. Dad, please forgive me." Of course, Maximilian had known about these already. But when he heard Henry admitting to it on his own, his heart began to stir. How did I raise such a useless and disrespectful son? And after years of upbringing, he actually tried to kill me. What a rebel. What you did was attempted murder. How do you expect Grandpa to forgive you? Even if he does, the law would not easily let go of you. Jared looked at Henry coldly. Everything that had fallen on Henry was brought upon him on his own. You want to send me to jail? Henry's face turned pale. If he did go to jail, his life would be ruined forever. Are there any other options? Who should I ask to compensate for my parents' lives? Speaking of his parents darkened Jared's eyes. It was so dark that it seemed like he was about to kill people. When Maximilian heard Jared's words, he was immediately stunned. What do you mean your parents' lives? It was apparent that Henry was also frightened by Jared's words, for his whole body was shaking. You know about it. Jared's eyes were as cold as ice and sharp as a knife. He stared at Henry coldly. Why do you think I came back? A thunder roared. As if his world came crashing down, Henry could not continue kneeling and dropped to the ground. Jared, what are you talking about? Maximilian immediately turned pale. He trembled and looked at Jared as his heart began to stir. Jared knew it was time, so he decided to tell Maximilian what he had kept in his heart for a long time. Grandpa, Henry murdered Mum and Dad. Instantly, Maximilian became dizzy as if his entire world had collapsed. Sir. The house butler was quick to react, and he supported Maximilian. Only then did he not fall to the ground, he sank into the sofa instead. But he only managed to return to his senses after a long while. Looking at Jared, Maximilian's heart ached. Have you been keeping this to yourself all these years? When Jared's parents passed away, he was only a teenager. And yet he had to endure the secret for so many years. On top of that, Henry's children chased him out of the country. At that moment, Maximilian was utterly heartbroken. The only competent grandson of mine had to go through so many hardships. I have failed as a grandfather. At that thought, Maximilian turned to Henry, who froze and sat on the ground dumbfoundedly. His eyes were filled with hatred. Alfred, call the police officers. I want to make sure that he goes to prison. To murder his own brothers and kill his own father? Henry is simply inhumane. Even if he were to be shot today, he would not even blink. Dad, please. You can't do this to me. Henry immediately returned to his senses and tried to beg for forgiveness. Don't call me that. I don't have a son like this. From today onwards, Henry Johnston is not a part of the Johnston family. Once Maximilian said those words, Henry was utterly astonished. He began to scream at the top of his lungs. Dad, I am your only son. Do you really want to abandon me? My big brother is gone. Do you want to lose me as well? Watching Henry keep hurting Maximilian with his words, Jared could not take it anymore. He lifted his legs and sent a kick toward Henry's chin. He fainted instantly and stopped crying. Drag him away. Jared's eyes were filled with disgust. He did not want to see Henry anymore. Max quickly brought some men and carried Henry away. After a moment, the police arrived and immediately detained Henry. Max also handed over all the evidence they obtained to the police. The living room had finally regained its peace. However, if one listened closely, one could catch Maximilian sobbing softly. Maximilian turned his back to him, worried that Jared would notice him being weak. He choked with sobs after a long while. My whole life is a failure. My sons are killing each other, and my grandson has to carry these burdens alone. I am a huge failure. Jared felt the sadness coming from Maximilian. He went forward to carry him and said, Grandpa, I do not blame you. That sentence alone made Maximilian teared up out of guilt again. He quickly stretched out his hand and hugged Jared. The pain of losing his own son and the guilt of not being a good grandfather to his grandson stirred Maximilian's heart. He hugged Jared and cried for a long time. It was night time. Jared comforted Maximilian to sleep. Then, he went downstairs and was immediately approached by Max. All the evidence of Henry scheming to hurt your parents has been sent to the police station. Adding up to his attempted murder at the hospital, tax evasion, corruption, and other charges, I believe Henry would get a death sentence. Jared's eyes were dark as he listened to a useless person's fate. Then, he walked out of the manor, turned around, and glanced at it. He took a deep breath. Mum, Dad. The both of you may rest in peace now." Then, he turned away charmingly and left the manor. In the night, his figure looked particularly desolate. When Nicole woke up, it was already dark outside. She never thought she could sleep for so long by drinking only a little alcohol. Perhaps, she was too tired as well. Recently, she had been tense. But, on the other hand, it could be a good thing since it was rare for her to relax. Just as she was getting down from her bed, she sensed someone sitting on a chair by the balcony. She immediately turned around and got down. "Who is it?" As she was speaking, she switched on the lights too. A familiar slender figure appeared before her. Nicole did not expect to see Jared there. "What are you doing here?" Nicole got up angrily and asked. "I missed you." Jared's voice was deep. The sensitive Nicole could tell that Jared was not in a good mood. So, she took a few steps forward to check on him. At that moment, Jared suddenly stretched out his hand, pulled her over, and made her sit on his lap. Then, he immediately hugged her without letting her see his face. She sat still as she felt Jared's chin resting on her shoulder. What happened to this guy? He doesn't seem to be in a good mood. However, Nicole never asked anything. She just let Jared hug her for a long time. It was not until Jared's mood lightened that he asked, "Why did you come here without saying anything? Does she know I need her by my side now?" Nicole avoided his gaze guiltily. "I missed Grandma. Why can't I come?" To be frank, she did not want to see Jared and be reminded of the lipstick stain. Instead, she wanted to go home and calm down. Jared frowned and looked at her. Then, he replied shamelessly, "But what am I supposed to do? I missed you." Nicole acted as if she did not care. "That is not my business. Many others miss you. You don't need me." Her jealous words made Jared burst out in laughter. "Are you still jealous?" Nicole did not admit to it. "I wouldn't dare to. Who am I to be jealous?" She got up to escape as soon as she finished speaking. However, Jared held her tightly. "You're my girlfriend, my future wife, mother to my future kids." Those confident terms and warm hugs made Nicole's heart skip a beat. This guy sure has a way with his words. Don't bluff. Go and find the one who kissed you to have your baby. As soon as those words came out of her mouth, a light flashed across Jared's eyes. "That's what you said." After saying that, Jared grabbed the back of Nicole's head and forcefully kissed her. It caught her totally off guard. Not until she began to be breathless did her brain stop thinking. When he let go of her, it felt like an eternity. She stared at him with her face flushed. She was speechless after being kissed. Jared smiled delightedly. "Now, can you listen to my explanation?" Nicole rolled her eyes at him and objected silently. She did not want to listen to it at all. But Jared took her into his arms and began to speak slowly. "That night, I was drugged." Jared's eyes began to turn dark. He was too careless with Fiorella. Drugged. Nicole had no idea that had happened, but she finally understood everything. That which Fiorella is too much. But don't worry. Nothing happened between Fiorella and me. While reassuring Nicole, he stared into her eyes affectionately. "There's only one person in my heart, and it's you." Nicole's face flushed instantly. She could not resist the urge to hit him. "You're fooling around now." Jared smiled and added regretfully, "That day, Fiorella set me up. And while I was unconscious, she left a stain. And whatever happened after, you've already found out." All of a sudden, Nicole felt a sense of guilt. When everything happened, she did not ask any questions. Her jealousy got the best of her when she saw the lipstick stain, causing her to misunderstand Jared. Nicole remained silent for a long while. Then, Jared added, "But all of these are still my fault. I will never allow Fiorella to get close to me anymore in the future." Nicole sighed and covered his mouth. "I trust you. You don't have to promise me anything." Fiorella was a challenging person to handle. Nicole did not want Jared to have any massive conflicts. They would have to take things step by step to get rid of her. Seeing that Nicole had gotten calmer, Jared heaved a sigh of relief. He held her hand and kissed the back of her hand. "Then, shall we go home tonight?" Jared winked at her with a smirk. Nicole suddenly felt shy. I've already come here. It wouldn't be nice for me to leave in the middle of the night. At that hour, Mrs. Wallace Sr. must have fallen asleep already. Jared glanced at the bed and said, "In that case, I guess I'll just have to stay here." As Jared spoke, he carried Nicole in his arms arrogantly. The following day, Nicole woke up before he did. She continued staring at him blankly. How could I have misunderstood someone who cares and loves me wholeheartedly? Are you looking at me? Jared asked as he opened his eyes and looked at her. She sat up shyly and denied, "When did I? I just woke up right before you did." Really? Jared also sat up and moved closer to her. Of course. Get up. Breakfast should be ready downstairs. Nicole was about to get up from bed when Jared grabbed her wrist and pulled her into his arms. What are you doing? Nicole stared into his eyes nervously. What do you think? Jared looked into her bright eyes with a smile on his face. The next second, Jared immediately pressed his lips against Nicole's. That made her gasp for air. Then, after a while, he got up and said to her, "Get up." Nicole immediately came back to her senses. She got out of bed and washed up. Jared watched her running away and smiled. After they had washed up, Nicole and Jared headed downstairs for breakfast. Mrs. Wallace Sr. and Tia were shocked when they saw him appear. "Sir? Why are you coming down from upstairs?" Tia looked at him puzzledly and popped the question first. "I arrived here late last night, so I did not want to wake the both of you up." Jared made up a lie without any hesitation. Nicole glanced at him. This guy is getting better at telling lies. He did not even blink. Hearing his explanation, Tia scratched her head doubtfully. "I did not go to bed early last night." "Come, sit down and eat," Mrs. Wallace Sr. said to him, understanding what he meant. Then, everyone ate breakfast in silence. None of them mentioned that matter anymore. After breakfast, Nicole helped Mrs. Wallace S.R.to the sofa. She turned to her and said, "Grandma, my friend sent some supplements from abroad and specifically said it was for you. I'll arrange for someone to send it over to you later." "It's fine. You can have it. I still have many supplements here, and I can't finish them," Mrs. Wallace Sr. told Nicole. Some of those supplements were given by Jared, and some were from Harvey and Martin. "Don't worry. Just take some every day. Day by day, you'll finish it all." Nicole smiled and told Mrs. Wallace Sr. after chatting for a while. Nicole looked at the time and said, "Grandma, you can just relax here. Jared and I are going to work now." "All right, go ahead." Mrs. Wallace Sr. waved at them. "We'll get going now." Jared bid goodbye to her. Then, he drove Nicole out of the Sea View villa. In the car, Jared asked Nicole, "Are you going to the lab?" "Yeah." "And you?" she asked him. "I'm going to the office." Later during noon, the both of them spoke in unison. Jared and Nicole looked at each other and laughed. "You go first," he said politely. "If you're free at noon, we can have lunch together." She gave a suggestion. "Sure." "Your turn." She stared at him, anticipating what he had to say to her. "I wanted to say the same thing," said Jared, glancing at Nicole. "You're lying." "I don't believe it," said Nicole. "It's true." "I'm not lying to you this time," Jared explained to her seriously. Nicole still found it hard to believe his words. "Really? Really? All right then. Where do you want to go this afternoon?" Nicole asked Jared. "Of course, we're going to your favorite place, Blue Whale Restaurant," Jared responded. Nicole had just been there with Martin the day before, and they had the soft-shell king crab. Today, she wanted to try something new. "I don't think we should go there so often. Why not switch things up today?" "Sure. Then you can think of a place to go." Jared wanted her to choose. "I can't think of any now. I'll let you know once I think of one." As they were chatting, the car reached the lobby of the Golden Coast building. Nicole gave Jared a peck on the cheek. Then, she quickly opened the car door for him and ran into the building. Watching Nicole run inside, Jared smiled widely. Then, he drove out of the Golden Coast building. Just as Nicole stepped out of the elevator, the receptionist hurried to her and said, "Ms. Riddle, Mr. Harvey is waiting for you inside."
"Harvey? What's he doing here?"
Nicole asked the receptionist. The receptionist shook her head.
"I'm not sure."
"All right, I got it." Nicole walked into her office. Harvey was sitting in her office, drinking coffee leisurely. "Mr. Harvey, are you treating this place like a cafe now? You always come here for coffee whenever you're free." Nicole spoke suddenly, startling Harvey. "How come there's no sound when you walk?" Harvey questioned her as he patted his chest. "It's because you weren't listening. What are you doing here today?" Nicole sat on her office chair. "Have you forgotten about the plan we discussed yesterday? I've been waiting for your message all night long." Harvey gave her a puzzled look. "Also, why didn't you ask me along for dinner with Martin last night?" Harvey looked unsatisfied. "I had something important to discuss with Martin last night. Also, why should I invite you when I eat with someone? I don't have to explain these things to you as well," said Nicole, rolling her eyes at him. Hearing that, Harvey became angrier. "In that case, don't you dare ask me to send the both of you home next time." Initially, he just wanted to make Nicole feel guilty. He did not expect Nicole to act so arrogantly. "You sent me home yesterday?" Nicole could not believe her ears. She clearly remembered calling Kelly. How did it end up being Harvey? If not, who? Nicole was confused and looked at Harvey in disbelief. "That's strange. I remember I called Kelly. How did the call reach you?" "Look." Harvey whipped out his call history and showed it to Nicole. Only then could Nicole believe his words. "That's really strange. But thank you for sending me home yesterday." Nicole thanked Harvey reluctantly. Harvey finally felt better after hearing those words. "I'm a generous man, so I'll forget about this. Now, let's talk about how we'll deal with Joyce." At the mention of Joyce, Nicole became serious. She recalled what Martin had told her the night before. Then, she looked at Harvey and said, "Tell that restaurant owner you didn't succeed. That way, we can extend Joyce's stay here." "Would that work? Wouldn't they get suspicious of me?" Harvey looked at Nicole and analyzed her expression. "I'm not afraid if that arouses suspicion. At most, it'll just force Joyce to personally get involved. That's even better in my books." Harvey analyzed the matter calmly. "All right, but I can't shake the feeling that this response is too nonchalant. We need to present it in a way that makes them see that you're unaffected. Otherwise, I think they'll look into my background and expose me. If that happens, Joyce will definitely notice." "You've got a point. We can put on a show for them. We cannot allow the restaurant boss to figure out who you are." Nicole looked Harvey in the eyes as she said this. "Yeah. We cannot meet outside the plaza anymore. We need to find a new place. I'll leave the arrangements to you then. Just inform me later." "All right, I'll see to it right now." As he said that, Harvey got up and left the room. Nicole sat in the office, thinking for a good while before getting up to do her work. The clock kept moving, and soon it was lunch break. Jared called as scheduled. "Have you figured out where to eat for lunch?" Jared's voice rang out from the phone. "I have. There's a pretty good restaurant on the east side. Let's give it a try." "All right, come down then. I'm waiting downstairs." "Already? I thought you hadn't left yet." Nicole sounded a little surprised. "Gotta be a bit more proactive when I'm asking a beauty out for lunch." "Enough cheek. I'll come down now." Nicole hung up and walked to the elevator, taking it down to the lobby. Getting into Jared's car, Nicole showed him the restaurant details on her phone. "This place." Jared then inputted the details into the GPS device and reminded her, "All right, put on your seatbelt." The car slowly drove into the bustling east side. Jared peered at the building and asked, "This should be the place, right?" Nicole immediately looked over. "Yup, that's the one." Jared then parked the car, opened the door for Nicole, and the two walked into the restaurant. As this was the first time they were at the restaurant, the manager did not know them. However, he could tell from how they were dressed that they were rich folks. "Welcome. Please come in. May I know what you would like to order?" Nicole looked at the crowd inside the restaurant and spoke as she walked. "Just give us a selection of your specialty dishes." "Yes, ma'am." "Do you have a quieter spot in the restaurant?" Jared asked. "We do. Please come upstairs," said the manager as he led the way. After arriving at a quieter spot in the restaurant, the manager looked at Nicole and asked, "Would you like something to drink?" "We're driving, so just water will do." "Sure. Please sit down and relax. We'll be serving you soon." The manager left then. Jared looked at Nicole and asked, "So this is the so-called pretty good restaurant you talked about?" He recalled the rather noisy crowd downstairs. Nicole could sense Jared's irritability and explained, "This place may be a little noisy, but the food is pretty good. You'll know I'm tight once the food is served." "All right then." Since they were already here, it would be rude for Jared to rebuke Nicole, so he sat down and patiently waited for the food to be served. After a while, a waiter came to Nicole and Jared's table with a platter of specialty dishes before carefully placing it in front of them. "Bon appetit." Nicole picked up one of the delicious pieces and held it up to Jared. "Give it a taste." Seeing that Nicole was trying to feed him, a smile appeared on his face as he ate the food. "Not bad," Jared commented. "See, I told you so. This restaurant's food has to be pretty decent to be so popular." Nicole then took a bite as well. The two chatted as they ate. And for some reason, the topic shifted to the McCarthy family, and Nicole looked at Jared as she said, "I had dinner with Martin yesterday, and I heard something really important from him." "Martin? What sort of important news can he bring?" Jared asked nonchalantly. Martin was nothing but a reclusive researcher to him. Nicole gave Jared a serious look. "It seems like you still don't know Martin well enough. I'm sure you already know about the McCarthy family's marriage plans with the foreign forces, right?" Nicole looked calmly at Jared. "I do. What about it?" "Then do you know why that Adam family from overseas would want to marry into an out-of-favor McCarthy family?" Nicole's gaze was full of meaning. "Tell me." Jared raised an eyebrow. He, too, had been investigating this matter recently. Could Nicole know something I don't? "I heard that the McCarthys were targeting the Adam family because the latter was branching out. So their marriage ties are more utilitarian and not as strong as we've imagined." Nicole told Jared everything Martin had told her. "I see." Jared was even happier to hear this than to eat good food. He finally had a way to deal with the McCarthys now. "Nicole, do you think this information is reliable?" Jared asked somewhat worriedly. "I heard it from Martin himself. It shouldn't be fake." Martin was her friend and would not have given her false information. Jared continued to try to verify the information. Then where did Martin learn about this? Nicole found herself unable to answer Jared's question. Perhaps she was too excited when she got the information and forgot to ask Martin for the details. "That I don't know. I'll ask him when I go back." "No need. If the information is true, I'll find out after some investigating. Martin wouldn't feed you fake information, so there's no need to worry," Jared said to reassure Nicole. "Yeah." Seeing that Nicole was still not enthused, he sat beside her and said, "No need to think about it. Real or not, bringing it up is important." Those words amused Nicole. "I'm not a child. You don't need to humor me. You're always a precious girl in my heart." "Oh, you." As the two chatted, Joyce appeared. The manager had arranged for her to sit to the far right of Nicole, with her back facing Nicole. There were a few other tables of guests between them. Since Jared was seated by Nicole's side, he did not see her enter the place either. Joyce pointed at a few dishes on the menu. "I want these few dishes. Serve them up quick." "Sure, ma'am. We'll serve them right away." After that, Joyce looked around and saw nothing of interest, so she took out her phone and sent a message. "I'm at the restaurant opposite your studio. Sit back down." Nicole pushed Jared back into his seat. Being pushed like that, Jared could only return to his seat. "How's the chip research coming along?" Jared asked, looking at Nicole. "We've already developed it. We're in the testing phase now," Nicole answered as she ate. Jared was quite surprised upon hearing Nicole's response. "That fast? You call that fast? We were already developing it when I was still overseas. It's just that there were some incompatible parts. Otherwise, we would have completed it long ago." Nicole still felt that their research progress was too slow. "You're being too modest. You managed to settle the matter in a month when a development team would have needed half a year. Isn't that amazing enough?" Even Jared felt that Nicole was selling herself short. Really? Nicole had not been in contact with the technology development team. The only people she had been in contact with were those in the base, but they did not give Nicole the feeling of being particularly good, nor were they comparable to the ones she had at the moment. "If I get the opportunity, I'll take you to meet a developer, and you'll know why then." Jared gazed lovingly at Nicole and felt more and more that he had gotten himself a treasure. As Jared chatted with Nicole, a man with a cap walked over and sat at Joyce's table. Jared glanced at the man but did not pay the latter too much mind as he continued his conversation with Nicole. A moment later, Jared took another accidental glance at the opposite side of the restaurant and noticed that the man had his cap on and was deliberately pulling it low as if he was afraid of being recognized. Such strange behavior immediately caught Jared's attention. He took out his phone and sent Max a message before returning to chat with Nicole as if nothing had happened. 10 minutes later, the man got up and left, but the person who shared the table with him did not and was seemingly still eating. "Am I overthinking this?" Jared frowned a little as he looked at Joyce's back. Just as he was serving something to Nicole, Joyce got up and went downstairs. A moment later, Jared received a message from Max. "Mr. Jared, I just saw Joyce McCarthy leaving the restaurant you were in. Tail her. See what she's up to. Roger." Sensing that Jared was somewhat distracted, Nicole asked, "Did something happen with the company?" "Nah, just a small matter. You know the company can't function without me," Jared replied with a teasing tone. Yeah, you're the heart of the company." Nicole could not help but teasingly praise him. Suddenly remembering Mr. Johnston Sr., Nicole asked Jared, "How's Grandpa doing after he got home?" "He's doing good at home, and I think he's much more alert than when he was in the hospital," Jared answered. "That's good. Most people would feel better once they're back home. Their bodies will naturally recover a little faster. But don't get complacent. After all, you don't have all the facilities back home." "Yeah, but don't worry. The butler accompanies Grandpa all day long. He'll be fine." Seeing Nicole so concerned about his grandfather, he loved her even more. She was a smart, kind, and filial girl. "I understand, but do visit Grandpa when you have the time. After all, you're his closest relative," Nicole advised as she looked Jared in the eyes. "All right. Speaking of which, the food here is pretty decent," Jared said as he met Nicole's eyes. "Told you. Give this a try then." Nicole served Jared another dish that he had yet to taste. "Okay." An hour passed, and after Nicole and Jared ate, they walked out of the restaurant. "How about we take the South Lake Road back? I haven't seen that place in a while," Nicole suggested with an inquisitive gaze. "Sure." The two then got into the car and left the restaurant. Along the way, Nicole kept looking in the rearview mirror. Noticing that, Jared asked, "What are you looking at?" "Nothing. The scenery here is beautiful." Nicole changed the subject. Jared gave her a deep look before looking at the plaza at Southlake and said, "Yeah, we haven't passed through this road for a long while now." Nicole suddenly felt like taking a stroll through the plaza. "Can we find a place to stop? I want to take a walk." "Sure thing." Jared drove toward the parking lot. Nicole got out of the car and walked toward the plaza, her eyes seemingly looking for something. Suddenly, a figure rushed toward her, knocking her down and spilling a bottle of unknown liquid on her. Seeing Nicole being attacked, Jared immediately ran toward her. "Nicole." However, the masked person that had attacked Nicole swiftly fled. Covering her face with her hand, Nicole screamed in pain. Jared did not have the time to chase the perpetrator. He quickly carried Nicole back to the car. He slammed his foot on the accelerator and drove toward the hospital. "Hold on, Nicole. We're almost at the hospital." Jared tried to comfort Nicole as he drove. "Not the hospital. Look for Martin. He's the best doctor around." Nicole reminded him as she lay in the back. Jared immediately turned the car around and drove to the beacon factory. Anxious, he gave Martin a call. "Martin, Nicole's hurt. Where are you now?" "Nicole's hurt. I'm at home. You can come over now," Martin told him. During the previous renovation, he had built a professional medical room in his house to be used in unique situations. "Okay, we'll come over right now." Martin went to get the equipment ready as soon as he put down the phone. Jared sped all the way there, running several traffic lights. In less than 10 minutes, he had arrived at Martin's place. Jared carried Nicole inside. "Martin." Hearing Jared's voice, Martin immediately got out to meet them. "Put her on the bed," he instructed. Jared put Nicole on the sick bed and looked at her with an anxious look on his face. "Go out and take a breather. I'll check Nicole's injuries." Martin looked at Jared. "I'll stay here. Work on her now. I won't disturb you." Jared had no intention of leaving Nicole alone. He wanted to stay by her side.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.